there's not enough time. There's just not enough time. Did you ever run into that as a house cleaner? You bid for a certain amount of time or a certain job, and then there wasn't enough time to finish the job. We're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's show is brought to us by housecleaning360.com. So if you need your windows washed, and there are all kind of film and dust and bugs on your windows, you can go to housecleaning360.com, and they will connect you with the best window washers in the business. All right, now on to today's question, which is from a house cleaner who wants to know.
Hi, Angela. I am new to housekeeping and recently started my business a few months ago. I bid by the hour, and I have a few different issues that are coming up on this way of doing business. Either they say that they want, for example, 3 hours worth of work and give you 4 hours worth of work to do in that amount of time, and you're either sacrificing quality for quantity or you work for free, and the result ends up being that you're late getting to your next job if you have something lined up afterwards. I have more confrontation, and I'm not sure how to handle it. I recently lost a customer because, like I said, I ended up getting everything she wanted done, but there was a couple of small flaws and she was unhappy, and she then added even more work to the list, and I told her I wasn't capable of getting everything she wanted done in the amount of time she wanted to pay for, and we ended up splitting ways. Another client is, every time I go, she's adding a little bit more work, but when I leave, she's only paying me for the amount of hours she said she wanted in the first place. I'm not sure how to handle this. Thank you for your advice.
All right, that is a really tricky question because every house cleaner at some point or another will find themselves in the middle of a job and there is not enough time to finish that job. Now, if you are bidding by the hour, you run a really big risk of having mismet expectations. How that works is this. When you go to bid the job with the customer for the very first time, it is your job as the house cleaner to set up the expectations so the customer doesn't have these wild expectations, that they can keep adding things to your list. It's one of the reasons why I am such a fan of the worksheet, because a worksheet has a checklist of all of the different things that you do on a normal, regular, routine cleaning. And so instead of just saying, well, you can hire me by the hour and throw at me whatever projects you have, because who knows how long each of those projects is going to take? We don't know. But we do know how long it's going to take to empty the trash. We do know how long it's going to take to clean a toilet. And so based on the hours that you're bidding to that customer, it will determine how many of these things on the checklist that you're able to get done. So if you're setting a realistic expectation when you show up to the customer's house, you say, hey, listen, these are the things that I normally get done in this amount of time. And so if you are being paid for 3 hours, I can do these things on this page and these things on the next page. Now, if they have anything they want to swap out, it has to be swappable. Now, what swappable means is this. If I clean this bathroom instead of this bathroom, that's swappable. What is not swappable is that I clean this bathroom in exchange for the garage, or the garage in exchange for this bathroom. They take different amounts of time. And so that would be a special project if you were then going to be given the garage, for example, because you have no idea what's out there. This is not part of your regular routine cleaning. And it's very possible that you don't clean garages every day. And so if you did, you would know how long it takes to put together all of the garden equipment and all of the fertilizers and the pellets and all of the different things that they have and winter coats and sporting equipment. And it would be different for every house. It's not like cleaning a toilet where you know about how long it's going to take to clean the toilet. So there are tasks that are not swappable. And so that goes into another category of an upsell. So if I clean your garage, we can't just add that into the hours that I'm here. That's going to be an upsell and it's going to cost you more money. So if you specify that up front, now the customer knows. Okay, so when I get to your house, these are the things that I normally do. And it's going to take me X amount of time. Now, if there are other things that you would like to add onto this list, I need to bill you for more time. Because if I do these things on this list, I'm not going to have time to defrost a refrigerator or a freezer or clean out an oven or wipe the insides of the cabinets or cupboards that would normally be considered part of a deep clean. And so when a customer has expectations that you're just randomly working for a certain period of time, that's a little bit different than if you say there's this expectation list that I have, and I'm going to check these things off as I go. Because here's what happens. If you think you're working for 3 hours and you're being billed for 3 hours and you have 4 hours worth of work, either the customer is going to get jilted or you are going to get jilted as the house cleaner. And so you need to be very crystal clear upfront about what your end game is. Because if you have other clients and you're charging by the hour, at the end of your 3 hours, you need to go on to the next customer's house. End of story, whether you're done or not. One of the reasons I love working by the hour is because at the end of the 3 hours, no matter what, you got to pack up and go home. There are customers that will leave enormous projects for you and just say, well, my house cleaner will do it all. She'll do all of it, so why do I have to make my bed? Why do I have to pick up after myself? Why don't I just leave stuff strewn all over the bathroom and let the house cleaner clean it up? But if they know that you are only going to be there for a certain period of time, then there are chores they have to do before you get there. They have to pick up their own clothes. They have to make the bed. They have to pick up after themselves. Otherwise, the money that they're paying you by the hour, they're now paying you to do their little menial household chores that are daily chores that they should be doing anyway. And so you need to be very clear up front what the expectations are. This is your business. And if you're losing customers over the fact that there's a clarity gap and they have one set of expectations and you have another, then as a business owner, it's time to take responsibility for that. I would go back to all of your customers and just say, hey, listen, I have a new way that I'm doing business and I'm implementing this checklist. And if you don't have a checklist, we have one you can download. The links to it will be in the show notes. So you can download that check sheet and say, these are the things that I normally do on a regular basis. And clarify those expectations up front so there are no surprises. Because at the end of the 3 hours, whether you're done or not, you need to pack up your stuff and go home. And as a trick, house cleaners want to finish the job. They love to see progress and they want to please and delight their customers. So there's this inborn feeling of, I got to stay and I got to make it right. No, you don't. You made it right when you finished with the hours. If you bill by the hour, at the end of the hours that you are being paid for, you put your stuff away, you pack up everything and you go home or you go to the next client's house. You are working by the hour, not by the job. And if you're working by the job, that's a whole different set of rules, but it comes back to how you set the expectations on day one. So if you have to reinvent your business, that's fine. Lots of businesses reinvent themselves midstream. But the important thing is that you do it today. Today, reinvent your business so you don't keep losing clients and customers based on a clarity or an expectation gap. Alrighty, that's my 2 cents for today. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.